Hi everybody, Chris here from Truly Holistic. In this video we're going to talk about what Truly Holistic has been able to achieve and facilitate using the unique modality we call intuitively aligned in regards to spinal alignment and posture correction. We've had numerous amount of testimonials and results over years of working with hundreds, thousands of clients. A modality that very much is heart of my sleeve in regards to my journey in regards to correcting my spinal problems, right? And what I learned along the way, and what I was able to facilitate something that is truly unique. Not only we work on 3 levels, let's say, in regards to resolving that issue, not only spinal alignment, but the precursor to spinal alignment, posture correction, but also the precursor to posture correction, an area that no one else works on, which is this ability to hold our energy, because the expression for posture, after all, it's how we hold ourselves. And if ourselves at the core, at the origin, is that we are consciousness, which means energy, it's how we're holding our energy. And not only can we provide and facilitate that for you, but we can give you the greater insights into how you can provide that yourself. This is why we created the system, to empower other individuals to learn how to do that themselves. So this modality, which we're going to give you plenty of examples of what we've been able to achieve over the years using this modality, is available for you to purchase and for you to learn and practice yourselves. Okay, and we'll put a link below in the description with a link where you can purchase that from. But also links where you can book an appointment to reap the results we're just going to talk about. So not only we provide a system that's got that 3-tiered approach, but it's also alignment, posture correction that we can facilitate to anybody and everybody around the world. Because it's all done without physical manipulation. It's all done distantly, which is unique, so unique. Okay, so let's get into it, So the first example I'm going to talk about is a client of mine who was in Japan, talking about distance healing, right? And they had a prolapse disc, which was causing a lot of nerve pain going into their buttock and down their leg. And she had had all the diagnostic stuff done at a hospital, which, from their point of view, they couldn't do any surgery on it. She didn't want surgery anyway. But, was given painkillers essentially and told, well, get physiotherapy to get moving. A very typical approach, and understand also that I've got 12 years of experience in orthopedic nursing, right? So I know the kind of pathway process that they would apply or take to certain spinal problems, whether it's herniation or prolapse of a disc or just typical back pain, neck pain, and all sorts of things. So in that session, we were able to, again, correct some postural deficits, align discs, vertebrae that needed to be aligned, release spinal nerves that were compressed, impinged, irritated. And what we got, only 48 hours later, a person that no longer had that pain anymore. They didn't have that pain in their buttock, down their leg. And months down the track, they've not had that problem ever again. Now, as generally when I talk about these things and saying this was done through distance healing, no physical manipulation, generally people would say that is not possible. Well, we're going to provide further results to show you how it works. It works just like you are next to me. And that person, that client, was in Japan, me in New Zealand. So let's go to the next one. Another client that we're working on a number of things at the particular time. And they pointed out that they had tightness between the shoulder blades. And they were in the USA, me here in New Zealand. And I could see on the camera that she obviously had a curvature because, which when I went into the charts, I found it was scoliosis, which is a lateral curvature. And this particular lady, her shoulders were like that, when she was standing up. They were not parallel. So 25 minutes later, working on posture correction and alignment issues, after that 25 minutes, we got her shoulders from starting there to parallel within 25 minutes. No physical manipulation whatsoever. Okay. Incredible stuff. Even people physically manipulating someone cannot get that results in 25 minutes. Okay. But truly holistic, using intuitively aligned, did it. It's a miracle. Okay. Now we're going to look at some testimonials. A lady from Faroe Islands. Again, I'm going to detail where that was. Again, all distance. And she was having issues. She was noticing when she was working in the garden that she really struggled with that, right? So picture this, right? Somebody that gained, something that they enjoy doing, right? Right? Quality to their life, right? They love gardening. But because of their back problem, they found it hard to garden, right? So we did a session. And this is what she had to say. My back has been so good since we did the intuitively aligned session. I am able to garden now without hurting my back. It's so strong now, right? Where she originally felt like a vulnerability, a weakness in that lower back. I had this problem all my life, not anymore. Right? Within one session. Right, next one is from a lady in Australia. What can I say? Another awesome healing. Felt a lot of shifts, and by the end of the healing, my body and muscles, so this is at the end of the session, my body and muscles were so relaxed and a calmness flowed throughout my body. My neck feels less tense, and I feel like I've grown 2 inches taller. We hear this commonly, is that people actually feel taller. Because one thing about the spine is it gets affected by gravity and duality energy. And duality energy is heaviness, right? Gravity, we all know gravity is the force, right? As a force that we do in science. But the Latin word for gravity means heaviness or heavy. So when we bring more levity into the spine, right, which would say is a decompression to the spine, right? Because one of the biggest problems to the spine is compression problems, right? Which is gravity. When we provide that levity, then their posture improves because they're standing taller. Because what's the most common postural problem we see? Forward head posture around the shoulders, and that's getting lower, right? It's not standing tall, chest out, right? So I've grown 2 inches taller. Posture is good and walking with shoulders back, as I just mentioned. He is very insightful and a talented healer. I would recommend him to family and friends. So a recommendation, and we get a lot of recommendations because it works. And anyone has access to it. That's the cool thing. And you can facilitate the session from your own home. How cool is that, right? Next one, from a lady in the US of A. My spinal adjustment from Chris at Truly Holistic was incredible. I didn't know what to expect because whenever I got adjustments like everyone else, I would go to the chiropractor. The only difference with Chris, it was all energy. No physical touch, distant adjustment. I was sore for 2 days afterwards, and that's what can happen. It may feel like you've been physically adjusted, but you haven't. I was sore for 2 days afterwards, like I would have been if I'd gone to the chiropractor. Now, during my session, my head involuntarily moved back to align with my spine, so the head coming back over. So what we noticed in that session was forward head posture, and a key was to try and get the head back over the spine. Okay, it was amazing. If you don't want to drive to your chiropractor, get an adjustment from the comfort of your own home, as I was mentioning. Your body will thank you. Right, so beautiful testimonial there. Now here's another one from Canada. Okay, instant relaxation in the neck. What a difference. Now a lot of you're going to hear it, obviously, that a lot, right? The relaxation in the neck. Now this is usually due to, again, this common postural deficit we see, which is forward head posture, right? A lot of our manual labor work is in front of us. More than ever, people are working on a computer, so everything comes forward. Looking at their phone, everything comes forward. So in a lot of these sessions, we pick up forward head posture around our shoulders, which means the trapezius muscle, this big muscle that connects into the base of the skull, wings over to the shoulders and goes about halfway down the back. It's very tight. It's really bound up. And the key in that session is to loosen that muscle up. And the key to that is to correct their posture, to get their head back over their spine and get those shoulders coming back. So you'll regularly hear that. So what a difference. The tightness was always there, not there now. So much energy. I felt feelings of fatigue, nausea and sadness through the session, but is all now being released. Now, interesting that she mentions about sadness, right? So what we notice and what we work on is, for example, the other day I had a client who was having issues with constipation and digestive issues. And what we found out why that was happening in the digestive system was because of the client's inability to forgive or to provide forgiveness for oneself. Right? So some of these things, that might be trauma or memories that we hold on to, can be kind of accumulated or bound in a certain area of the body. For example, the muscles in your neck or between your shoulder blades. So once we release that, then those muscles finally release as well, because they're an extended expression of that very thing that you're still holding on to. This client goes, but is all now been released. I felt a lot of heat, right? So when we're working, sometimes people feel a cool sensation, sometimes they feel heat, all different. That night I slept like a baby. The next day I experienced pain again, but it was a different pain, sort of numbing. But today, well, because that was things shifting. But today, well, one word, well, pain level was down 80%. This was one session. I noticed the most in my right shoulder that was hurting all the time. Today I barely felt it. A freeing feeling. Thank you, Chris. I'm grateful to have found such an amazing energy therapist. I look forward to our next session. Now, another testimonial from another client in Canada. As usual, your sessions are professional, focused, and generous in your patience and consideration, because we make sure that we get everything done in the session. Always info-packed, and there is a sense of value offered without time consideration as a factor. Been just over a week now, and I can tell you that the first week overall felt like I had some kind of significant work done in my spine. There was stiffness and discomforts in places all over my spine that I had not experienced previously, which was no fun, but nothing too painful or cause for concern. Because sometimes people will feel that, like another client that we were talking about before, will feel, some pain or discomfort afterwards, like something has been moved and shifted that has been kind of stuck for a while. Okay? Kind of what you would expect if you were being physically manipulated. Okay? Here we go. And not unexpected, since we're talking about spinal realignment or possibly a lifetime's worth of uncorrectable issues. So as I mentioned, Considering that you're in New Zealand and I'm the west coast of Canada, some would consider that miraculous, regardless of any beneficial result or otherwise. Now, the last couple of days, I've been feeling rather well in my neck, where a large proportion of your work focused on, and spine in general. The persistent sense of something off in my posture, cervical, mid-thoracic stiffness, is no longer present. At least these past 2 days, I wake up after the sleep period or take a break from prolonged desk time and forget to warm up stretch because I don't need to. Wonderful. I don't notice my neck or back. It's super, right? So we're able to help that client. Now, another client, my session with Chris was amazing. This was for a pinched nerve in my neck that had bothered me for many years, okay? Again, I get a lot of things that have been bothering or causing issue for years, decades. I felt so much energy being released and moved. Also felt my neck releasing a lot of tension. I felt many benefits such as pain relief during that session, and I'm expecting more to come in the near future. That night I slept like a baby, again a common thing that we get. Highly recommend if you want to start taking charge of yourself on all levels. Thank you, Chris. Now that's a key aspect there, right? Taking charge of yourself. Because one thing that we do facilitate here at Truly House, we don't just do the clearing, the alignment, or the posture change. We give people empowered information that they can take on board themselves and facilitate themselves in their life, right? To, for example, when it comes to spinal alignment, posture correction, exercises to maintain that spine, that head over the shoulder so it doesn't go forward again. But also their ability to hold their energy, which is only going to benefit holding the correct posture and therefore stopping alignment issues from happening to begin with. Another one. Hi Chris, thank you so much. I feel I've noticed a real difference in my neck stiffness and the left hip area is always a problem but feeling much better. Thank you. Another one. Chris helped me with back pain in just one session. I definitely recommend Chris to my friends and to everyone. He's a miracle healer. Another one. After suffering with a sore lower back and kneeling was painful, I had treatment from Chris. As it happens, my spine was out of alignment and I've had relief straight away. Now, I don't need to take ibuprofen anymore, which is an anti-inflammatory. I have been taking 1,600 milligrams a day and have been on this medication for 5 years, consistently, 5 years. Didn't need it anymore. Again, consider it miraculous, wouldn't you? Another one. Thanks, Chris, for working on my knee. When I woke up in the morning, I had so much more movement. It's truly amazing how this all works. Highly recommend to anyone looking for other options. So, in that example, see that was another part of the skeletal system. So don't just see it that I work on the spine. I do work on aligning your hip, aligning your knee, your pelvis, whether it's your elbow joint, anything. Your skull sutures, all comes into play. And the last one I'm going to share with you. In this same session, we also healed my painful left arm. So another example, that's not spine. That was bothering me for a few months. Pain completely disappeared. He could detect the original source of my health problems, and such knowing is very helpful for me. So what I do remember with that one, and that was a client from Europe. In Europe, if I remember rightly, they were getting nerve pinch pain that originated in the lower part of their neck. Their neck was in a bit of a mess. We had to align a whole lot of stuff in their neck. And the nerves in the neck go down the shoulder and into the arm. So a big part of the pain that she was feeling in her arm was only being felt there because of what was happening in her cervical spine. So we regularly see that for people that have carpal tunnel syndromes or a loss of grip strength or issues in their arms is because of what's happening in their neck or the lower part of their neck. Again, a big part of that is also forward head posture, which brings that head forward. and shoulders round, which a lot of shoulder problems is caused because of that postural problem as well, because you lose your range of movement in your shoulders. But what happens when you stay in that position for a long period of times, the body creates more tissue, right? It thickens the tissue in that area, which ends up sometimes being a hump. But what happens is that disc can shift out of place and then start pushing on a nerve. So that's what we saw in that situation there. So some miraculous results that we achieve, and we, and that's just a few of them. I just wanted to pick out all the really good ones there, but we get a lot of great results. Am I guaranteeing that you're going to get a miracle in one session? No. For some people it takes a number of sessions. For some people it's just one session. Again, it depends also how long you've had the problem for. And we won't know that until we get into the session and get a sense of what's going on, right? But what I can guarantee to you in an intuitively aligned session for spinal alignment posture correction and everything else that comes with it is you're going to leave that session feeling different, and you're going to feel self-empowered with information and knowing how yourself can hold that alignment, hold that posture that we're enabling in the session. Because a common complaint when people go to a chiropractor, their general chiropractor, and I'm not talking about blank slating all chiropractors, because there's some really very integrated chiropractors, but is that they'll feel good for a day or two and then it just slips back out of alignment and they've got to go weekly, right? Which is really not resolving the origin or the root of the problem, right? They're still just correcting the things that then just fall out of place again. So, and that's usually due to a lack of insight on what's originating or causing that issue to begin with, right? So when we look at the spine, right, the spine is dependent. Because if we didn't have the connective tissue, cartilage, articular cartilage, ligaments, tendons, muscles, and everything that hold posture, the spine would just crumple away, right? So it's dependent on that. So if the spine is dependent on all of that's more important than that vertebrae or disc being out of alignment, right? So of course we have to realign those things, but a big factor in what holds that alignment is then looking at that connective tissue, cartilage, articular cartilage, all those things that are associated and dependent in posture of that part of the spine. So, as I say at the start, we look at that, but we also look at the precursor of how postural deficits originate as well, which is your ability to hold your energy. So, something that no one else looks at that level, at that depth. And that's something I'm very proud about that Truly Holistic provides, not only in this type of session where we're working on spinal alignment and posture correction, but all health problems that applies to. So if what I've talked about sounds really exciting to you, book an appointment with me. And the link to that is trulyholistic.net/appointments/ and there's a number of different appointments. Just you select the spinal alignment posture correction appointment. And what I'd recommend to you before that session, that you email me 3 photos. So one photo from the front where you're just standing upright, looking straight ahead. One photo from the back and one photo from the side. So I get a 3D XYZ axis assessment I can do on your posture before the session. So when we start the session, we just get the ball rolling, right? And we can use what I've assessed from your posture and also your own experience of the things that you've been having trouble with, whether that's neck pain, back pain, pain that runs down the leg or down the arm, and a number of other things. So that's what I really recommend in regards to that. Also, if you're somebody that loves to take responsibility for your own health, wants to become empowered, or maybe you're a practitioner that wants to have that ability to realign, the spine of your patients, you can purchase the intuitively aligned system on my product store, which is at trulyholistic.net/product. products / and that's a system that you'll get all the dowsing charts that you require. Now, if you're somebody that's never dowsed ever in your life, use the pendulum or use dowsing rods or muscle kinesiology, within the guide booklet that comes with it, it teaches you how to do that. And also, you can also always contact me if you have an issue with anything, a part of the system, and we'll work through it. So therefore, it works for you. You know, one thing I do not want is people buying the system and putting it on the shelf for it to collect dust. I want the system to work for you because I know how good the system is. You also get a little wand that comes with it. Will amplify your intention as you make the intention to make the energetic shift. But it's a wonderful system, and it will change your life in so many ways. Not only is it empowering and enlightening to what you're capable of and learning a new skill set that you'll have the rest of your life, but all the joy and the happiness and the hope that you will facilitate in others as you help them along with their journey as well, especially in regards to their spine. Please remember to like the video if you enjoyed the video. Please consider subscribing to the channel if you enjoyed this content, would like to see further content like that. Also push the notification bell to be aware of when new videos are released. Until next time, bye.